Now, when it comes to the divine masculine, are you sure you're ready for the real tea? So welcome everyone to my channel. If you've never been here before, I am Hush, the head mistress here at the Mystic Academy of Taboo, where we discuss all things spiritual from a less pretty but very straightforward lens, so to speak. And I know for a while we've been talking about the divine feminine because the truth is Mother is here. She is on the rise. But I could not call myself a high priestess. I could not call myself a servitor of the truth if I did not discuss the polarity, her equal, her opposite, and that is the divine masculine. And so much of what we're seeing right now, especially in media and with spirituality getting so trendy, is we're about to see both the divine masculine and divine feminine get real funky. Because the truth is, he's not that TikTok archetype. He's not the soft guy and with the lighting and with the elays on and the high frequency music, or he's not the one out in nature with his shirt open or the white linen and all that. That's bullshit. That's all nuance, right? Who the divine masculine really is at the core, he is the man who has faced himself in the dark. He has buried his ego, dug that thing on up, and faced his own rage. He's faced his fears. He's faced his addictions to the silence. He's really gone down to the depths, right? And this isn't about looking spiritual either, because the truth is, it doesn't matter what you wear, how you show up into the room. That is just you. If you really spiritual, if you looking, living, and breathing like that, it doesn't matter if you wearing crystals, were you wearing J's or whatever the fuck, you just are, because it's all about becoming whole. So let's really just tap into it and let's talk about who the divine masculine really, really is. And I think a lot of people have this nuanced or this romanticized idea of what the divine masculine is. And he's so much more than this stone-jawed, quote unquote alpha male that's just waiting in the corner with his eyes pierced and feeling out the room. He's not wielding this giant sword of flame and justice, ready to strike off demons and shooting arrows with precision like Hawkeye. It's not nuanced like that, right? He's not this quote unquote dominant energy, right? He's not ego in a nice 3-piece suit, right? The concept of alpha, that shit don't even make sense, right? So he's not someone that's above women, right? He's not someone who's not in tune with his emotions. He's not someone that's not capable of crying in the dark, right? And he's also not here to be feared. He's not, like we saw with that Nature Boy clip, fuck ass. He's not here to have a harem of bitches and to be feared every time he walks into a space, right? He's not here to be worshipped. He's not here to be your father either, right? And he's also definitely not your daddy's definition of what masculinity is. This is why we run into so many toxic masculine ideas, right? What most people call masculine, for real, is wounded little boys in men's bodies trying to outrun their shame. That's really what we define as masculinity right now. The truth is, the divine masculine is presence. It's unshakable, not because he's invincible, but because he's honest about his shit. He feels everything, and yet he still shows up because he sees the divine in everything. Yes, he is a leader, but he also listens to counsel before he makes a move. He's a protector, but he's not here to stay on top of everybody. He's not here to control. He's not here to put his foot on your neck, but he will speak the truth. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when his own voice is shaking, he's going to speak the truth. He's a witness of all of the chaos going around, and specifically as it pertains to the divine feminine. Because I said earlier, she is chaos and destruction, right? In her wildest self. He's a container for that wild energy. He's that edge that says, okay, that's enough, when the world really just numbs out, right? So I think the question is, how do you awaken the divine masculine within yourself? Okay, y'all better get real, okay? Because the truth is, it's not pretty. The reality is, you're not going to find him in a meditation. You're not going to find him strictly just, going to church or whatever it is that you practice. The truth is, you're going to have to face the shadows if you're really going to tap into your divine masculine. The truth is, when you stop running from the things that your father did or what he didn't do, whether he was there or not, when you can stop blaming women for the pain that you have not faced or the things that you yourself willingly walked into, when you can look at that inner child of yours, whether you're male or female in body, and take them into your arms and send them love and heal them instead of projecting all of those pains onto a partner, that's when you know that you are tapping into your divine masculine. You have to stop avoiding your shadow. This is a death process. I'm not going to lie. And you're going to have to kill the version of you that was built on that level of survival and validation. Only then are you going to be able to call yourself the king. And we see that in Black Panther. That's a great example. T'Challa literally has to die in one aspect and face down not only the sins of his own father, but he goes back and redeems himself, right? That old version of him had to die that was based on things that were omitted in his own family legacy. And that's why he became the true king that he was meant to be. Not the one that was already, promised to be. He had already shown and proved that he could lead. Spiritual bypass. But he had to you say you really go into there's no more in this hiding space behind the actual the high vibes, or even for low him ones to really for that understand. Matter. Something got to change. Not that. The masculine is real. Period. And if you really want to tap in, if you really about that life, then you're going to have to build the muscle. And the first step is radical honesty. You got to stop lying to yourself. You got to stop lying about your desires. You got to stop lying about the things that you fear. Everybody's afraid of something. You can't stand in the truth if it's built on self-deception. It's not going to work. And then being devoted to your discipline, not controlling it, right? But it's waking up early, whatever you said you're going to do, taking those cold showers, getting up and moving your body, doing whatever you said that you were committed to doing, even after the motivation dies. The discipline itself, like that is the altar in which the masculine prays at, period, point blank. He's going to do it regardless. And I mentioned earlier with fatherhood wounds, you're going to have to face it. Whether he was absent, abusive, or silent, it left you scarred. It hurt. You're going to have to go there. And you have every right to feel that rage. And of course, on your own time, I don't care what anybody says about this part, you can forgive on your own time when it's time for you, right? Because that is where your power is buried. You're going to have to face that wound and it hurts, right? And then there's that, task of protecting without being overbearing or possessive, whether it's a love mate, whether it's your own kids, if you have any, or your own inner divine feminine. Like we can't, omit her too. We are both masculine and feminine, every single one of us on this planet. And you don't own her. Right? You honor her. So it's about protecting without your ego. That is very sacred, right? And it's a fine line where you can protect and then become possessive. So you really want to watch yourself in that aspect. Creating necessary boundaries. Also, that is the top tier level, right? Of walking into your kingship. Creating boundaries, not out of fear, right? But out of self-respect. And you don't have to yell and scream and ball your fist up and bang things, right? Your presence itself can become the boundary. When you're done with a bunch of bullshit, your silence will also speak for itself or your stance. But also being able to hold space for your emotions, right? And not even just yours, for anyone around you, especially your partners and your children. And I'm not just talking about tolerate, because, a lot of us have that thing of tuning out. You can listen, but you ain't really listening. That's not what we're talking about. But it is acknowledging that those emotions are there. It's breathing through them. Not even necessarily fixing the chaos or running from it, but it's being in the storm and being present. And that's also important when we talk about, sacred union, and not just the love part. We're talking about the full on integration of self, find union within yourself, being your own twin flame, becoming whole within. So if you want to attract your divine feminine, divine masculines, then you have to honor her in you first. Checking in with your intuition. That's the divine feminine. Being creative, recognizing your softness. All of that is divine feminine energy. And when the masculine and feminine within you stop competing with one another or stop hiding right behind each other in one way or another, that's when you become free. Dangerously free for some people. That's the real union. And I don't mean dangerous like as in, people are going to be coming for you. You're unstoppable. That's what I mean. When that devotion meets that fire, when that structure meets that flow, when the king can stop running from the queen within himself, that's divine union, and that makes you unstoppable. And the reality is, the real ones are being called forth at this time with this new earth integration. The world doesn't need any more, men pretending to be strong. It needs more men willing to be real about their feelings. It needs more men, specifically masculines, to lead with heart, to sit in the silence, to be able to love without possessing something. Right? To protect what's sacred, seeing the divine in everything, not just what's stroking their ego. And if you're hearing this is not by accident. The divine masculine is not a concept, it's a call, right? And it's time for you to answer it. And I guess the best way I could say this without making this video too long is, for those of you that are here, whether you're male or female in body, it's recognizing that he's not coming, the divine masculine. He's already inside you. And all you have to do is wake him up. That's the energy. That's what we're walking into. It is the return of the true king in you. And so I hope this really helps y'all, but I'm not done, even though I'm done with this speaking portion because my voice is getting a little dry. I got a little something for you guys, so stay tuned, right? And in the meantime, I want to thank you guys so much for just tuning in, tapping in. Your likes, your shares, your subscriptions, everything you do means a great deal to me as I grow through this channel. And really, as I grow through my own spiritual journey, awakening both the masculine and nurturing and maturing the divine feminine within myself. Hey, listen, y'all, we are all learning. We are all on a journey. And I'm glad that you took the time to really just tune in right here to get the messages. I hope they all touched and agreed with your spirit. Now stay tuned. I have a quick meditation for you guys. And as always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Mwah. Close your eyes. Let the world outside fall away. You're not here to escape, but you are here to remember. There is a temple inside you. Stone walls carved with ancient memory. Torches light as you walk. Each step is an initiation. You descend into the underworld. It's not a place of darkness to fear, but a place of truths unburied. Your father's voice echoes here. Your rage, your grief, your silence. Let it rise. Let it break you. You are not here to bypass. You came here to become. Take a deep breath in. As you take another deep breath in and exhale, you look up and you notice there he sits, Osiris, not in gold, not in glory, but in stillness. His body once torn, now whole, a mirror of your own return. He looks at you and says, "What are you ready to reclaim?" And I just want you to take a moment and reflect on that question. What are you ready to reclaim? And he rises and he places his hand over your heart and speaks. This is not power you take. This is power you hold. It's been buried beneath your shame, your doubt, your fear of being seen for who you truly are. But it is yours now. I want you to take a moment and let that sink in. Let this light in your chest burn steady. This is the fire of the resurrected masculine. You are not broken. You are reborn. And as you receive the light from Osiris, you rise now, not as a boy seeking approval, but as a king remembering his name. Take a deep breath, and when you're ready, you may return to this world, but not as you were. You return as who you are. Osiris walks with you now, and now you are the temple.